I'm also just glad that I'm about to hear your cancer story and you're making phallic gestures.
I have a 20-year toxic relationship with cancer. When I was 21, I am one of 4 girls in my family. When I was 21, my oldest sister, Tracy, was diagnosed with breast cancer. She was 6 months out from having her son. She went to chemo every Wednesday for 9 years. And during that time, she raised her son, who knew her nothing but someone with cancer and being sick. During this time, she actually helped start an organization called the Young Survival Coalition, which specifically helps young premenopausal women with breast cancer. And during this time, I learned of a gene mutation, the BRCA1 gene mutation and BRCA2. And as I was reading about it, I was like, wouldn't that be so weird if we had it in my family? Because 3 months before my sister's diagnosis, my grandmother on my father's side, my grandmother, my father's mother, passed away from breast cancer. And you're BRCA1 positive. I was like, huh. My next decision was, well, do I get a prophylactic mastectomy with reconstruction? Do I just continue getting heavily monitored? What do I do? I knew I had to start getting ready for my surgery. And before your surgery, they make you go in for a pre-surgery tests where you get a mastectomy and an ultrasound to make sure there's no cancer and to make sure you're healthy. So I went in for my very first mammogram. I was 29 years old. I was in New York at my parents' house with my dad, and the phone rang and I saw, caller ID, it was my doctor. I picked up the phone and he said, hi Jamie. I got the results back and it's cancer. And I was like, yep. And he said, but we caught it early and we're gonna get it. And I think the hardest thing to do was to call my mom as she's sitting next to my sister and say, I have cancer too. My parents were like 2 ships passing in the night because, again, someone was always with me and someone was always with Tracy. And when one of them was traveling to the other one, then a neighbor was with me, or one of my sisters was with me, and one of my sisters with Tracy. It was just, we were never alone. While I was going through that process, Tracy started to get sicker. It was Valentine's Day of 2009, and she had a seizure. On the 19th of February, my mom had called and said, you guys need to come down because she's not gonna make it to the morning. And I remember at one point she's like, you can talk to her. And I was like, what do I say? And I got really close to her ear, and I remember just saying, thank you so much because you saved my life. You're the one who told me to fight for my health and to be my own best health advocate. And if it wasn't for you, I never would have. So I thanked her, and then I told her I loved her. And at 5:10 a.m. on February 20th, she passed away. When I was nearing the end of my treatments, I started to date my now husband. He's my best friend's little brother, and he'd always wanted to go on a date with me. And he's like, well, if there's ever a chance I'm getting a date with you, it's while you're sick. You'll say yes. And I was like, oh. And we went to a Boys to Men concert because it's his favorite group ever. I'm 30 years old. I've gone through enough crappy relationships. If you don't want to give me marriage and babies in the next 2 years, just let's have a great first date and then go back to being like your little Nickerson. And he's like, well, we can go to town hall now. I'm good. Let's go. And I was like, oh, you're so cute. And then he never left. And we got married a few years later. And then we tried to have kids on our own, but I had a very, very, very early miscarriage because the chemo had really done a number. And then we decided to dip into the eggs that had been frozen for 5 years. They turned into my now 6-year-old twins. So they took on the first try. So that's my cancer story in a nutshell.